The four special advisors that were inaugurated include Mrs. Mariam Uwais on social investment, Senator Babafemi Ojudu, political matters, Tijani Abdullahi, planning, and Dr. Adeyemi Dipolu, economic matters. Apart from Tijani Abdullahi, who will operate from the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, all the other presidential aides were deployed to the office of the Vice President. Ambassador Shola Rafiu Enikanolaye, who was sworn in as Permanent Secretary, is moved to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to replace Ambassador Bulus Lolo, who bowed out recently after 35 years of meritorious service to Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari did not make any speech at the ceremony, but some of the appointees spoken to by NTA News say his body language as the apostle of change is well understood.
We're going to focus on the three main core priorities of government. The first, of course, is the economy. The economy, which means creating jobs for Nigeria, assisting industries to bounce back so that more of our youth can be employed, attracting foreign direct investment from all over the world, attracting the best of skills and technology for the economy. Mr. President has energized relations with our neighbors, with our development partners, so that we are beginning to get more assistance. We need to continue along this line and build greater consensus around that particular issue so that the current security challenges that we face can be better handled. And the third one, of course, is anti-corruption. Anti-corruption has a foreign policy dimension in terms of what kind of partnership and arrangement we can work out with various parts of the world where Nigerian assets have been stashed away. We will continue the impressive efforts of Mr. President. We're going to support him in ensuring that many of these countries understand the need to partner with us to trace those assets and ensure that they are returned for the good of the Nigerian people.
I certainly will bring all the best that I have to bear in this assignment, bringing all the knowledge that I have and all the international exposure that I have to try and support our country at this very important time.
You're coming at a time of economic downturn. What is the best way forward?
Well, the best way forward is to stay focused, not to panic, and to see through all the policies that government has put in place to fast-track implementation of them so that the effects will begin to be felt far and wide.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, ministers and family members of the new appointees witnessed the ceremony. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army has developed new mechanism for improved quick response to national security threats in parts of the country. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, stated this in a paper delivered to participants of Senior Executive Course 38 at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kurujos, Plateau State. Defense correspondent Mohammed Abdul Kadri completes the report.
In a 27-page paper titled Responding to National Security Threats, the Nigerian Army Perspective, the Chief of Army Staff examined institutional mechanisms put in place to safeguard the nation's territorial integrity. Within the context of internal, external, and transborder threats analysis, the Army boss identified constitutional provisions, national defense policy, counter-terrorism strategy 2015, and military as well as paramilitary instruments of response.
The movement of the Military Command and Control Center to the northeast is one major response of the federal government of President Muhammadu Buhari towards responding to this national security threat.
The Chief of Army Staff said threats to national and global security in the 21st century are no longer interstate but intrastate owing to the growing prominence of non-state actors. The Chief of Army Staff said response to national security threats begins with an individual and down the line to the community level participation. From NIBS Kuru, Jos, Muhammad Abdel Kadri, NTA News.
The United States Agency for International Development has donated
humanitarian assistance. Lauding the contributions of the United States government, USAID and other international donor agencies, Director General National Emergency Management Agency, Mohammed Sani Sidi said the donation will go a long way to cushion government efforts towards addressing hygiene and nutritional needs of the internally displaced persons.
Humanitarian dashboard is fast changing. We are working towards the rehabilitation of the people and their communities, reconstruction of infrastructure and full recovery, including livelihood options.
In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Still on security matters, FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello has cautioned the territory's area council chairmen and traditional rulers to guard against possible breakdown of law and order in the nation's capital following security reports of violence instigated by chieftaincy crisis in some chiefdoms of the Federal Capital Territory. He spoke during an emergency meeting with the leaders in Abuja. Mitaire Ikben reports.
Apart from cases of chieftaincy crisis in some FCT chiefdoms, the FCT minister said reports of religious extremism have also been brought to his attention. He urged the council and traditional leaders to be vigilant and swiftly report activities that could truncate the peace in the FCT.
Issues relating to farmers and herders clashes, issues relating to drug abuse among the youth in the territory. The whole idea is to re-emphasize the channel of communication that we have among these stakeholders and to also make sure that it is strengthened.
Speaking on behalf of others, Chairman Abuja Municipal Area Council Abdullahi Adamu Candido and the owner of Abaji, Adamu Baba Yunusa, pledged full cooperation with the FCT administration on security.
Abuja is relatively calm, it's peaceful, and we hope it will be sustained. We have resolved all the issues amicably.
The leaders were also advised to interface frequently with the farmers and pastoralists in their domains to prevent a face-off. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
To other matters now, economic experts said the recent Central Bank of Nigeria's directive on agent banks to kickstart dollar sale to bureau de change is a win-win for all to guarantee security in growing the economy. Talatu Ezirike reports that they were speaking on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live.
The bureau de change financial operators recognized globally are guided with laid-down rules and regulations for effective development and security. Analysts say the Central Bank of Nigeria is repositioning the sector for growth, particularly with its recent guidelines that will curb sharp practices within the foreign exchange market, guide against inflation, and provide support for the small-scale end users in line with best international practices.
Some of them, when they retain this money, they bring it unofficially into this country, sell it in the black market, harvest the profit, use it to open an Naira account in Nigeria. I don't think any country will sit by and allow that to happen to its economy. Imagine where we have $21 billion in our reserves today. We wouldn't be going through this hassle.
CBN has been sanctioning, querying banks, erring BDCs, and any operator that has not complied with read down regulations. We are going to improve on surveillance and improve on sanctions to ensure better compliance.
For economic watchers, the new policy is not a somersault, but right stand that should be commended and supported for a holistic advancement.
We hope they should also be a major source of foreign exchange, not just to rely on what they could get from the market. They should also be sources of supply.
Our focus should be more on economic sustainability. In those things you need to buy, what Nigerian alternatives are available. If you begin to look at it in that way, the amount of enterprise that we need to do will begin to emerge.
No doubt the interest of the Central Bank of Nigeria is to build a stable economy through guaranteed enabling environments that protects the consumers against abuses and stiffer punishment for economic offenders. Talati Ezavike, NTA News.
And for an update on the release Oba of Iba, over now to Abdullahi in our Lagos Network Center. Good afternoon to you, Abdullahi.
Good afternoon, Hawa, and thanks for joining us here in Lagos. Some residents of Bola Jibanwo Street in Aguda area of Surulere were stranded and confused this morning when they woke up to find that the contractor handling the road project on their street had blocked all their houses during the night. This made it impossible for them to leave for their places of work.
Some of the residents in the area said it has been very tough for them since the contractor started work about 5 months ago. The worst now happened when they woke up this morning to find many cars trapped. It was observed that apart from completely blocking the exit, some of the trucks emptied concrete on some of the cars. Those who spoke to NTA News said the contractor did not alert anyone of his intention to block the exit.
So eventually 2 of them came, assisted me to park here. That was around 9 yesterday. So it's quite unfortunate that coming out this morning, my family, they're waiting for me at the other side of the street because they have to cross over for me to drive out. And I'm in a mess, man. I don't know what to do, and there are patients waiting for me in the hospital.
I'm still, marveled because I don't know how it can, do such a thing on my car. See, I don't know whether it has damaged or not until I move the car.
Around maybe midnight, because I came in around 10 and I parked my vehicle. I saw one of the trucks, but they were heaping on the other side of the road. So they even the person that told me to where I will park my vehicle, not to know that they plan to lock us out.
I just parked here. I don't know what is happening. I just want to go out and look at. I don't know. I've damaged the bumper. Now the bumper is damaged.
NTA News, however, got in touch with the site engineer, whose name was given simply as Timei on phone.
That place, I have live from yesterday waiting for these people, so I didn't know the time they came. I'm sorry for any unnecessary treatment I'm giving to you people here. I'm very, very sorry.
Some of those affected left for their places of work on commercial motorcycles, therefore abandoning their cars.
The traditional ruler of Iba, Oba Goriola Osheni, who was kidnapped about 3 weeks ago, had regained his freedom on Saturday, 6th of August, has been recounting his ordeal in the hands of his captors. Yabo Waleri visited the palace of the monarch and reports that it was a beehive of activity.
Since the 16th day of July, when the news of the abduction of Oba Goriola Osheni broke out, activities on the palace, according to the eldest daughter of the monarch, Dayo Oseni, have been low-keyed as the family waited anxiously for the release of the monarch. Normalcy is now back on the hitherto quiet place. Visitors, including traditional rulers, state functionaries, family members, friends and others thronged the palace to felicitate with the family on the safe return of the traditional ruler. Oba Oseni could not hide his joy as he recounts his ordeal to the people.
Immediately they carry me here. So you yourself, I know for myself that without fire there will be no smoke. Baba, sit down. I have to sit down on the floor. And you will be sleeping on the floor. That night I slept on the floor.
The State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Musli Falami, and others speak on efforts of the state government at ensuring adequate security of lives and property, especially in the rural areas.
We are making inroad into the community. But in terms of security, I want to say the criminality is more pronounced in the urban than rural.
The traditional ruler of Iba, Oba Goriola Osheni, was released on Saturday evening, with 2 of the abductors arrested by the police. In Lagos, Iyabo Wale Eri, NTA News.
On to pension matters now. Federal civil service pensioners have appealed to the federal government to pay arrears of genuine pensioners who have been delisted or wrongly placed on the payment schedule. The pensioners met this appeal at a meeting organized to discuss the forthcoming verification exercise in Lagos. Ken Egbeluge has details.
Against the backdrop of payment of 12 months of arrears out of 42 months by the federal government, including pension increase on them, pensioners have expressed serious concerns over the non-payment of arrears to some of their colleagues. The chairman, concerned pensioners, David Adodo, enumerated some of the challenges faced by the pensioners who did not benefit from the recent payment of arrears.
There are outstanding arrears, there are short payments of pensioners' entitlements. So there are cases of people who did not understand the interpretation of the circular. So I will appeal to the new Director General to seek for assistance from the head of service.
Those are the trained career civil servants who understood the meaning of charts. There are still honest ones among them. They should work together.
They urged the federal government to ensure that the balance of 30 months arrears is cleared early in order for them to enjoy the fruits of their labor.
It's been very difficult without my pension, and we've been pleading with the government to please pay our pension. In this world, you cannot live without money.
I go to Abuja, I beg people. He work my money, say go pay, make I go Lagos. Still they never pay me.
The pensioners also appealed to the authorities to ensure that the forthcoming verification exercise is stress-free. In Lagos, Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
And that reports ends our contribution. From here, it's back to Hawa with more stories in Abuja. Hawa, over to you.
Many thanks, Abdullahi. And moving on to education matters, to other matters now. The Federal Ministry of Information and Culture has opened bid for the 2016 capital projects. Anthony Forson reports that the ceremony was presided over by the Permanent Secretary in the ministry, Ayotunde Adeshuba.
In attendance to witness the bid opening for this year's capital project for the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture were members of the ministry's tender board, company representatives, members of civil society and transparency organizations. Permanent Secretary in the ministry, Ayotunde Adeshuba, said the exercise is in line with the 2007 Public Procurement Act.
In fulfillment of the law, bidders were informed to submit duly completed technical and financial tender documents in separate envelopes before 12 noon today.
She maintained that successful companies from the technical evaluation will be invited to the next stage of the exercise,
which is the financial bid opening. I assure you that due process will be followed in the evaluation of every bid document, and all successful bidders will be accordingly recommended and awarded the respective contracts.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
To politics now, the People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees Reconciliation Committee has reached out to the factional chairman of the party, Senator Ali Modu Sharif, as part of its assignment. Correspondent Abdullahi Garba Benin Kudu has more.
With a mandate to meet all the principal actors in the PDP leadership crisis, the Reconciliation Committee met with Senator Ali Modu Sharif and his group for more than 3 hours. Chairman of the Reconciliation Committee, Professor Jerry Gana, says the committee is not a court of law or panel, but are to serve as intermediary to reach a truce.
The discussions have been very frank, very truthful, very patriotic, very educating in terms of doing the kind of thing that will allow us to propose solutions to the problems facing the party.
Senator Sharif said the party needs to address problem of impunity for peace to reign in the party. He, however, gave some conditions which the committee pledged to report to the Board of Trustees.
We are available for proper reconciliation of the party. They will go back to the BOT that set them to say what we have told them and what we think, if properly followed, is the way forward and the lasting solution for the party.
The outcome of the next meeting between Ali Modu Sharif faction and the Reconciliation Committee is critical to the party because it will be one of the determining factors for a successful convention of the party, which is only 1 week away. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Dr. Seyabo Enitimi Ida as the new rector of the Federal Polytechnic, Ekowe, Bayelsa State. The appointment, which takes effect from the 27th of July, has a first term of 4 years, subject to renewal for a second term. A statement from the Federal Ministry of Education indicates that Education Minister Malam Adamu, who announced the appointment in Abuja, said a condition of service, including benefits, should be approved for rectors in federal polytechnics in the country. The statement adds that until his appointment, 45-year-old Dr. Ida was a lecturer in the Department of Biological Sciences of the Niger Delta University, Bayelsa State, and holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Applied Biology from the Rivers State University of Science and Technology, Port Harcourt, as well as a master's and doctorate degree from the same university. And still on education, the Federal Ministry of Education has banned the payment of development levies imposed by Parent Teachers Association in federal government colleges to alleviate the sufferings of parents. Similarly, no Parent Teachers Association of any Unity College is allowed to initiate any development in Unity Colleges without federal government's authorization. A statement signed by Mr. Ben Bem Gon, Director Press, Ministry of Education, says the new measures are designed to arrest the situation where development levies imposed on parents by PTAs are higher than the school fees charged by the federal government. While acknowledging the complementary roles of the PTAs in the colleges, the ministry says it will not allow PTAs to constitute themselves into a parallel government in the schools at the expense of parents. More than 500 intending pilgrims from Kaduna State to perform this year's Hajj. These and more from our Kaduna Network Center as Suleiman gives us details. It's over to you.
Thank you very much, Hawa, and welcome to Kaduna. Governor Nasiru Ahmad El-Rufai of Kaduna State says his administration has put in place measures to improve the management of Hajj in the state, with a view to strengthening and improving the operations of the State Pilgrims Welfare Board. He said this in a message to the flag off of airlift of almost 5,000 pilgrims of the first of the state. Muhammad Lawal Baba reports.
Represented by Deputy Governor Barnabas Bala, the governor said problems associated with Hajj operations, particularly in the state, will be a thing of the past. Governor Nasiru El-Rufai reiterated that adequate arrangement has been made for the intending pilgrims from the state to Saudi Arabia to perform the pilgrimage hitch-free. He called on the intending pilgrims to obey the rules and regulations governing the conduct of the Hajj and to be good ambassadors not only for Kaduna State, but Nigeria as a whole. Overseer of Kaduna Pilgrims Welfare Board, Imam Hussein, said 5,649 intending pilgrims from the state are expected to perform this year's Hajj.
Intending pilgrims for the first flight and second flight, they are now on ground. They are undergoing screening of various agencies, after which, inshallah, they will be transported to the airport for their airlift to Saudi Arabia.
In Kaduna, Muhammad Lawal Baba, NTA News.
This year's Kaduna Diocese Reverend Timothy Yahaya has applauded the federal government for its fight against corruption and insurgency, urging the government to pay attention to the families of fallen heroes to alleviate their sufferings. He stated this at the 20th Synod of the Anglican Communion Kaduna Church of Nigeria held in Kaduna. Mary Ekpenyo has the details.
Yes, Anglican Synod has the theme, Righteousness Exalts a Nation, but Sin is a Reproach. Bishop of the Diocese of Kaduna, Right Reverend Timothy Yahaya, said that Nigeria as a nation is blessed with many natural resources but needs to return to God. He says leaders and citizens must be righteous so that God does not abandon the nation. On the state of the nation, the bishop says the federal government needs to take necessary and urgent actions to address issues of unemployment, education, Fulani herdsmen, and insecurity in other parts of the country.
Decisions emanating from global best practices in respect of conventions that Nigeria is part of.
He said the Nigerian Army is committed in ensuring both boys and staff of the school have conducive environments for teaching and learning. Kebbi State Governor charged the graduates to continue to build on the academic and leadership training instilled on them.
It's indeed a celebration of excellence in our public life, and the fact that our public institutions can still deliver this excellence is comforting.
After presentation of banner to champion company, the passing out parades featured silent drill, combat march, among other.
Pattern with the use of street.
Awards were given to deserving students. In Zaria, I'm Sagir Muhammad Awal, NTA News.
The National Agency for the Prohibition of Traffic in Persons, Kano Zone, has rescued trafficked victims from Libya. The Zonal Commander Naptip Shehu Umar, while parading the victims, advised parents to beware of dubious people who will approach them with the intention of offer to their children for jobs in foreign countries. Ali Adamu tells us more.
Trafficking in persons has now assumed one of the popular businesses for men of the underworld in Nigeria, considering the lucrative nature of the trend. Many young boys and girls are lured with offers within and outside the country, which later turn out to be slavery, exploitation, and assault of unbearable magnitudes. A case in point is the 3 young girls rescued by Naptip Kano Command, who were cajoled into traveling outside the country to be offered appointment as sales representative in London supermarkets. However, the 3 girls ended up as prostitutes in Libya.
We go carry our bag, we dey hide for our parents, we no want make them see us. That way they use us, same way we dey do our shower work. They can't direct 3 bike. The 3 bike can't carry us, enter bush where we no know. They turn us up and down. They hide us for police. They no want make Nigeria police see us.
Naptip Zonal Commander Shehu Umar, while cautioning the public on the menace of the inhuman trend, explained that trafficking in person is an organized crime with international connection.
The traffickers have different ways of recruiting people. And it's not only female, even male. Even if you're an adult can be trafficked. It depends how they present the issues to you.
He therefore advised people to always be cautious of any job offer given to them within and outside the country. In Kano, Aladamu, NTA News.
And with that report, it's back to you, Hawa, for more on the Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Suleiman. And you're still on to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We pause for some messages now. The news continues shortly.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it.
Breakfast of John Boo every Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA International, NTA Network, and Star Time. Over and out.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
Digital technology and information is changing the world.
For our children to stay ahead and compete globally, they must evolve from being users to creators of technology. Digital Peers International, in conjunction with partners, is organizing the 16th edition of Digitest, tagged ITpreneurship, a roadmap to a sustainable future for children aged 8 to 18 years and school teachers. Dates: August 24th to September 2nd, 2016, Abuja. Kids will be taught in how to code, design and build mobile and desktop apps. For registration and participation, visit www.digitalpeers.org or call the numbers on your screen. The digital revolution has already begun. Do not allow your kids to be left out.
We intend to radically change Newman Street. My company has a track record of converting slums into new cities. Many years of experience has taught us to fish out allies within the communities we want to transform.
Don't listen to your husband. Listen to me. Give me a boy. And the two of you may never even have to work again.
What's your name? Akpos America. Oh, Akpos America. One, number two. Wonderful wonder. Wonderful wonder.
We from the APC, from the one with the intention of changing the direction of Nigeria. We believe Nigeria is an African power and can be a major powerhouse in world affairs. But to do that, we need to change our direction.
It can be done. This country cannot be written off. It can be done. And this country will still lead Africa. We're making steps, slow steps, moving on. I mean, it took the Americans 200 plus years to get where they are. We're moving.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's nationwide on the NTA. The National Open University of Nigeria has made a case for its graduates to participate fully in the National Youth Service Corps scheme. Franca Uzoma Olwa reports that the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abdallah Adamu, also appeals to the National Universities Commission, NUC, to work out modalities for graduates to be accepted into law schools.
As the first open and distance learning university in the West African sub-region, the National Open University of Nigeria now prides itself as the only university where all the local government areas in Nigeria are represented by its students. But this nationalistic outlook, according to the Vice-Chancellor, is dampened by some discriminatory laws that affect the students in the areas of participation in the NYSC scheme, admission into law schools, and the inability of students to pursue postgraduate programs.
Prayer for NUC to facilitate the use of university hospital laboratories on an MOU basis for non-science and clinical-based students throughout the Federation.
Executive Secretary NUC Professor Abubakar Rashid promised to look into the matter.
The NYSC, which of course many members or many graduates of NOUN may not qualify, because quite a number of NOUN graduates will be above the age of 30 when they complete their studies. But technically, even if it is only one member who is under the age of 30, should be allowed to go to NYSC.
Similarly, the National Board for Technical Education is seeking the cooperation of the NUC to change vocational qualification to National Qualification Framework to discourage the existing dichotomy in the sub-sector.
We should work towards formation of the National Qualification framework, which will take care of all qualifications, irrespective of where and when or how acquired.
For now, the board is striving hard to find solutions to the neglect of the non-formal sector of the economy, which contributes more than 70% to the country's economic growth. Franca Uzoma Olwa, NTA News.
The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Kayode Fayemi, says developing a viable roadmap that will ensure import substitution and backward integration would restructure the mining sector in the country. The minister stated these on NTA's breakfast program, Good Morning Nigeria, while discussing efforts of the Buhari administration to revive the steel and solid minerals sector. Abdul Malik Adio monitored the program.
Until we build the backbone of our industrial vehicling, we would not achieve our dream of an industrial revolution, which is the master plan.
The minister's comments are in line with federal government's policy of diversifying Nigeria's revenue base through investment in the agriculture and solid minerals sector. Dr. Kayode Fayemi says restructuring the sector would put Nigeria on the global map to becoming a mining nation. The stride is intended to help address the issue of unemployment while building local capacity as well as reducing capital flight.
What we've done with the new roadmap is to, one, strengthen the place of data. So we're proposing in it a new regulatory agency, for example. We're proposing in it a much more industrial-focused mining regime.
Other issues raised by discussants include the importance of industrialization as a driving force of any economy. They also called for an enabling environment to encourage development of local investments.
Manufacturers are finding it extremely difficult to buy inputs. That's why we need local substitutes. I think the government, the ministry, should do everything possible to ensure that there's an alternative to Itakwe.
If you create a national development bank that targets various aspects of development, industry, solid minerals, whatever it is, then you can extract concessions. You can decide that the interest rate would be lower, knowing that the ultimate objective is not just profit taking, but to guarantee development.
They also stressed the need for proper reorientation and synergy between the federal government, the state, and the host communities in tackling illegal mining in the country. In Abuja, Abdul Malik Adio, NTA News.
The All Nigerian Nationals in the Diaspora says the economic policies of the present administration are intended to rejig the economy, create wealth and jobs for the teeming unemployed youth. The association's coordinator, Maryland, United States, Frank Okibo, said this at a media briefing in Abuja. Gabriel Odu completes the report.
Economic diversification, anti-corruption, and the security of lives and property are major concerns of the government. To that extent, the All Nigerian Nationals in the Diaspora is keying into government policies and programs.
Concerning the economic support, the present government is working on corruption, which I think is a big problem that we have in this country. And they also tame down Boko Haram, where you can be free to walk around the road without fearing of being attacked or bombed. And my understanding right now is that there are meetings going on across Nigeria where they are having some economic development plans on how to move the country forward.
All Nigerian Nationals in the Diaspora is a non-governmental organization and non-partisan, committed to bringing expertise for national development. In Abuja, Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
Though Nigerians are yet to come to terms with the technology of genetically modified organisms, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Science and Technology, Mrs. Belema Wakama Asefika, says It is a science of the new agricultural age designed to modify crops to survive diseases, drought, and boost their vitamin content. Science correspondent Kerian Umeayo attended the open forum of the National Biotechnology Agency, where issues of GMOs were played up.
There are no significant empirical evidence to show that GMOs are harmful. We are the custodians of scientific facts regarding the safety of GMOs. This seminar was therefore organized to sensitize staff of the ministry so that you will be well informed about GMOs.
The forum highlighted the controversy over GMOs, which many perceive as dangerous to human beings and the environment. Scientists explained that there are national biosafety guidelines to regulate the practice of any genetic modification process.
And I've also assured Nigerians they need not worry, they need not panic. They should believe and trust government position. We are scientists, and this thing is scientifically based. It's not based on assumption or just because somebody said it. No.
So in genetic modification, the issue of danger does not arise. Why do I say so? Because in all scientific publications, if there is any science in this world that is highly regulated, genetic modification is one.
What in your opinion is the danger inherent in GMOs that leads to the fight against it by a number of people?
I don't see the danger in it. The only danger that can arise can only come from uncontrolled practice of the technology. And we have systems in place to ensure that this technology is practiced under a regulated system.
The National Biotechnology Development Agency, NABDA, has, through GM process, evolved a confined field trial for rice, which focused on nitrogen use, water efficiency, and salt tolerance. The BT cowpea modified to be resistant to marrock insects. The Africa biofortified sorghum created to have increased content of vitamin A, iron, and zinc, and Biosafety Cassava Plus modified to have enhanced vitamin content. The Biosafety Bill was passed in 2015 by the 7th Assembly. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
And for more reports on Nationwide today, let's join our Sokoto Network Center. Zainab is our guide. It's good to see you, Zainab.
Hawa, and welcome. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar III has urged security outfits to redouble efforts towards fighting crime and maintaining peace. The Sultan was speaking when he granted audience to the newly posted Commissioner of Police to Sokoto State, Abdul Qadir Muhammad, at his palace. Jabi Ilela Daburi reports.
The Sultan said now that the nation is experiencing challenges of kidnappings, cattle rustling, various forms of challenges and crimes, there is need for the security agencies and their intelligence departments to spread their tentacles to avert any act capable of disrupting peace across the state and the nation at large. He assured the new Commissioner of Police of the Sultanate Council support at all times, adding that his doors will always remain open. The newly posted Commissioner of Police to Sokoto State, Muhammad Abdul Qadir, said he was at the palace to seek the Sultan's support and royal blessings in the discharge of his new assignment. He assured the Sultan of working assiduously to maintain the peace and bring criminal activities to the barest minimum in Sokoto State. Police Commissioner Muhammad Abdul Qadir called on people of the state to support the police and other security agencies in efforts to maintain law and order. In Sokoto, Jabele Dabore, NTA News.
More communities in Sokoto State are being destroyed by flood as a result of the intensity of the rainfall. Areas such as Gata and Kurawa in Sabumbirni local government area of Sokoto State are the latest, whose flooding challenges continues to reoccur for decades. Sheikh Muhammad Datti has more.
About 100 homes were lost to flooding due to lack of proper drainage system to drain water whenever it rains heavily. The existing drainages being provided by the local government council are grossly inadequate, making waterlogging common in many parts of Kurawa village. Government Day Secondary School Kurawa is usually characterized by waterlogging, causing damages to structures in addition to the effect of windstorm. A dispensary constructed about 27 years ago has been submerged by flood. At Rapingo, the area of Shiyar Sabongari in Gatawa village, large volume of water lock has caused serious flooding, affecting all the surrounding homes, rendering all the occupants homeless. Those rendered homeless also lost all their household belongings to the flood. Though no human life was lost in the affected villages, many domestic animals were said to have been lost. In Sokoto, Show Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to you, Hawa. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Zainab. Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State has flagged off a rice production value chain that will benefit over 1,395 farmers in the state. The rice production cluster project of 1 hectare per farmer is to be cultivated in 7 local government areas. Jumai Stephen reports that the project will cost over 230 million naira.
With the dwindling price of crude oil and the federal government's determination to diversify the economy, this rice production project by Fadama 3 is aimed at empowering farmers and also generating more earnings for Nigeria. Flagging of the project at Nkai Ajikamai in Shandam local government area, Governor Lalong said agriculture is the key strength of the present administration and is optimistic that this will bring about a turnaround in the sector.
While I give assurances of our commitment to do more to improve the attainment of the food supply value chain, may I, like the Provincial Oliver Twist, request the World Bank to consider the provision of critical infrastructure that will enhance the food value chain. Essential components of road, rural electrification, mechanized irrigation system, and one-stop shop produce market will guarantee the completion of the value chain.
Fadama 3 National Project Coordinator Adetayo Adewumi described the flag-off as significant with the second-place rating of the state by the federal government supervision mission early this year. He said rice was added to the tomato value chain following Governor Simon Lalong's request.
Two small-scale rice infrastructure, and the essence is the viability of the road we are constructing. And from what we have seen, the road under Fadama should be linked up to economic activities. And with what we have seen here, we have a lot of land and we need to give them good road.
Plateau State Fadama 3 Project Coordinator Gideon Dandam said requirements for the project include a business plan which will ensure the provision of improved seeds, herbicides and machinery. The project, which will involve 1,395 hectares, experts estimate that it will produce 6,995 metric tons of rice. And Jones, Jumai Stephen, NTA News.
The Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, says the country needs an export revolution to grow her foreign income as an alternative to the dwindling oil revenue. Executive Director NEPC Olusegun Awolowo stated this at a non-oil sector stakeholder meeting in Abuja. Olajide Bello will now fill us in on the details.
With Nigeria's import bill of over $50 billion yearly and earnings from oil put at $70 billion, stakeholders call for strategy to reposition the economy for sustainable development using Zero Oil Plan. Olusegun Awolowo disclosed that the Zero Oil Plan identifies 22 priority countries as markets for Nigerian products, as well as 11 strategic products with high financial value to replace oil.
The main important thing about this is just to increase Nigeria's productive capacity. That's the only way we can get into the export market and become an exporting nation.
Chairman, Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts, Senator Sheikh Husani expressed optimism that if Mexico and United Arab Emirates could reposition their economies without oil, which contributes significantly to their gross domestic product, Nigeria should take a cue through development and promotion of locally made goods among other agricultural produce as well as solid minerals.
Future in which non-oil will become the focus and in which we will grow our foreign reserve and grow our naira and create jobs through inputs and investments.
The Zero Oil Plan targets $150 billion foreign reserve and 500,000 additional jobs. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
And on the foreign scene, Tanzanian government and its oil industry partner to invest $30 billion in gas production to revolutionize the economy. For more stories on global tidbits, let's join Ronke Kolawole.
Just as South Africa celebrates 1 year of steady power supply, about 15,000 workers of the power company embarked on industrial action over pay in defense of a court order. In Somalia, members of parliament participating in the next election must join political parties within 2 years or step down. This is to shift the country away from clan-based politics. Presently, there is no formal party structure or registration system in Somalia. Meanwhile, a 33-year-old Somali-born female activist, Iham Omar, may become the first Somali-American member of parliament in the United States, as she has already unseated one of the longest-serving members of Minnesota's legislators in a Democratic primary. In India, police is yet to unravel the mystery of a theft that occurred in a train carriage, and the thieves made away with $860,000 belonging to India Central Bank. The damaged notes were on their way to Chennai for destruction. And in Iraq, at least 12 premature babies were killed in a fire outbreak in an hospital in Baghdad, the country's capital. For Global Tidbits, Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
Sports now. Haruna Quadri, proud of 2016 Rio Olympics achievement as Dream Team 6 strategized ahead of quarterfinal football event at the Olympics. Ayodeji Makinde has these and more on our sports update.
Africa's first table tennis quarterfinalist at the Olympics, Haruna Quadri, bowed out of the 2016 Rio Olympics after a 4 straight sets loss to world number 1, Ma Long of China, Wednesday. The 28-year-old lost 11-4, 11-2, 11-6, 11-7 to his match-experienced opponent in 28 minutes as the Chinese next faces Japan's Jun Mizutani Thursday.
Playing in my country's colors